These are American things that I still do, even though I've lived here in England for over 18 months. Look left when I cross the street. Since I was young and I learned how to walk and I learned how to be out in public in society, I was taught that you look left, then right, then left again when you're crossing the street in order to be safe. So it's just an instinct and it's been ingrained in me in my whole life, even though I've been here for a while and I am well aware that the closest oncoming traffic is going to be coming from my right hand side and the further oncoming traffic is going to be coming from my left. I still look left first. I do the left, right, left thing, but now I think I've just instinctively started to add the right again at the end. Like when I'm crossing the road, I'm like left, right, left, right. And as I'm crossing the road, I just keep looking back and forth like this to make sure that I'm safe and I'm not like gonna be in any danger in any way. I'm sure that people around me are thinking, what the hell is this woman doing? Call autumn fall. Every time I say fall, at least one English person in my vicinity corrects me and says it's really autumn. And I understand that that's what it is called here. And I understand they're just being playful or trying to help. I can't help it. I've always called it fall my whole life. No one in America that I know really calls it autumn. Maybe some like really uppity kind of snobby people might call it autumn. I'm so sorry. I don't mean any offense. I really have never heard anybody call it autumn that I can think of. Funny side story. I actually knew someone whose name was Autumn and their sibling's name was Winter and their other sibling's name was Summer. They didn't have a spring. I understand that nobody here in England really calls it fall. Everybody calls it autumn. And it's probably one of those things that as soon as I say it, everyone's like, American. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to call it autumn. I think it's going to be fall for me for life. Get excited when I see a castle. I think that English people who were born and bred here in England probably have the same reaction to castles as I do to skyscrapers. Because I've been around them my whole life, because I've grown up going to New York very often in my life, it doesn't really faze me when I see a lot of skyscrapers or really tall buildings around me. The luster, the novelty of it has completely worn off. I think that's kind of what English people feel like around castles. I get really, really excited when we're driving and I see it in the distance. Even if we're not going, I still am like, oh my gosh, there's real castles. There are real life castles here. I don't think it's something that I'm ever gonna get tired of. I hope not anyway. Being direct and saying what I mean. For those of you who are not familiar with the English culture, it is very polite. As a whole, English/British people tend to not really want to offend, and they don't really want to ruffle the feathers. They don't want to rock the boat in any way, and they always want to put their best foot forward. The issue with this is if they have a problem with you, it's kind of hard to tell. And a lot of times they won't tell you, they won't really address the situation. They'll just kind of talk about you behind your back or pretend everything is fine and then just sweep it under the rug and not worry about it. For me, it's really, really strange. And I am much more of a direct person whether it be instructions, whether it be, you did something wrong, I did something wrong, we have something we need to address. I don't like the sweeping it under the rug, but I would never, ever say something in front of a friend or a colleague that I wouldn't say to someone's face. That's just not something that I do. I'm a much more direct person, and I like people that are much more direct towards me. It's a huge adjustment for me, and it is something that I'm struggling with. I am working on trying to understand the other side of it so that I can interpret the inflections and the tones and things like that. I'm struggling with it, but I'm working on it, and I think I'm getting a little bit better with it. But for me personally, I'm never going to be that way. I'm always going to be direct. I'm always going to tell you exactly how I feel. And then if I just shut up and not talk at all and have nothing to say, that means I either have nothing good to say or I'm extremely pissed off. If it is the latter, I will go to a secluded place, work on it, deal with it a little bit, determine whether it's something that I actually have to address with someone, in which case I would, or if I can just let it go and just, let bygones be bygones and move on. Definitely wouldn't just assume everything was okay and just pretend like everything was okay. So I don't think that's something about my Americanisms that's ever gonna go away. Eat hamburgers and pizza with my hands. I cannot believe that this is a cultural thing. My partner and I, when we would go out and have pizza or have burgers, my partner would use a knife and fork to cut their food, would cut their slice of pizza up and eat it like that. I thought that was the strangest thing in the world. I've never known anyone to do that. It is really, really weird to me. I know some people, because in America, we have big portions. So the portion, a burger might be kind of stacked up kind of high, and they might cut it in half, so that they can kind of get it all in their mouth at once. Or something along those lines. They wouldn't eat it with a knife and fork. It's just weird to me that no Americans would ever eat it with knife and fork, pizza or a burger on any level that I can think of. And here, everybody does. Not so much, burgers is kind of like 50-50, but pizza, a lot of people eat pizza with knife and fork here. I don't think I'm ever going to get it, and I think it's one of those things that I'm never going to be able to do. I will continue to eat my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I don't understand why so many English/British people think peanut butter is disgusting, especially when you factor in Marmite. Marmite and butter sandwiches are okay, or Marmite and butter on toast is okay, but you don't like peanut butter with some jelly on it? I just don't get it. I think it's delicious. I'm never going to not eat my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I think they're fantastic. Peanut butter is amazing. The other thing that's amazing with peanut butter, Reese's peanut butter cups, peanut butter chocolate. Oh yeah, those are fabulous. I'm sorry, but if you don't like peanut butter, you're a little sus to me. I'm just gonna say it. Call all biscuits cookies. I know that there's a differentiation here in England where biscuits are like smaller, the more like shortbreads and things that you would have with your tea, and cookies are larger and usually have the chips and stuff. And I don't know. I don't really understand it, to be honest with you. A few people have tried to explain it to me, but I don't get it. They're all cookies to me, and I'm never going to call them anything differently. I get that you guys do, but I don't understand it. Maybe if I could ever understand it someday, then I might be able to figure it out, but a cookie's a cookie. If it's a shortbread, if it's a chocolate chip cookie, if it's an Oreo type, what do you call them? Digestives, right? Like with a shortbread, and sometimes you have some chocolate on it or something. I don't drink a lot of tea, and so I don't really care about having biscuits with tea. I know that's a big thing here too, but yeah, they're all cookies to me. All right, guys, there you have it. Some Americanisms I'm never going to get rid of. I'm sure I'm missing some, so if you guys can think of them, certainly put them in the comments below. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. That'd be great. I appreciate it. Otherwise, thanks for the view, and I will see you all next time. Bye.